So I don't know if you guys were aware of this or not. Mike McCarthy's now calling plays in Dallas.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, he's calling plays.
I heard that story.
And in fact, Mike McCarthy spoke,
Big Mike.
had some big words, spoke about how excited he is to be back calling plays for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the most fun I've had since I've been in Dallas. I mean, just to be in the meeting room again with the coaches full time. We've been getting, just to go, 8 to 11:30 and break, and you've been talking nothing but, skiing. I haven't had that. So that part's different. But then, you have all these great responsibilities here that you have to keep doing, and so you got to delegate more. I mean, we have a good plan. I think doing this in year 4 is totally different than would have been doing in year 1, especially coming in with the pandemic and everything that we had year 1.
So Mike McCarthy also went on to say, courtesy of the Dallas Morning News, the difference between him and Kellen Moore, the previous offensive coordinator, quote, Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want him to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. I think when you're a coordinator, but you're in charge of the offense. Being a head coach and being a play caller, you're a little more in tune with everything. So there's your Mike McCarthy.
I knew it was a shot, and then that confirmed that it was a shot.
Tell him, VAR.
I mean, he took a shot, a couple shots.
What'd he do?
It took shots. Bam, bing, bang. Like that's he took shots.
What was the Gannon sounds?
Pew, 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 pew. Shots. Pew,
Shots.
pew, pew.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. And again, it brings me back to the original point that I made when we spoke about Mike McCarthy the last time, in terms of him taking over the play calling duties. He's setting the stage either for him to have to deal with no more runway in terms of the amount of success that this team has, or Dak Prescott is set up to be the fall guy. It's either way. Either you have success and everything that you said plays out the way that you wanted it to play out, where you're making the play calling, the team drastically improves, and you see those results, or you don't. And if you don't, it's most likely going to be because of a lack of production from your offense. And if it's a lack of production from your offense, then where is the blame going to go? That would be my biggest question.
I think it goes on Mike first. I
think you're right.
Mike's the next fall guy, and then it's Dak. Because if you look at Dak's contract, they can't get out from underneath it. They really can't for the next 2 years. His dead cap hit, if they try to release him, would be $89 million this year.
Oh, that's all?
That's it.
Nothing.
And by the way, next year in 2024, so we're talking 2 years from now, it's $39.9 million. Now, I guess you could do a post-June 1 designation. You could cut that number in half and spread over 2 years to make it $20 million each one of those years on your cap. But that's still pretty significant for a guy who hasn't been there for 2 years, right? So it's a big year for Dak. I even think if they're looking at like extending him out, because he's got some dummy years left on the back end of his deal. But I think Mike's the first one to potentially go. And these parting words, for whatever reason, like I think he's speaking some truth. I mean, look, when you're a head coach, you have just better perspective. You're seeing the entire thing and how everything relates. So if you have an aggressive defensive coordinator who likes to blitz a lot, okay, that might create a bunch of negative plays, and it might create a bunch of 3-and-outs. But there also might give up 2 or 3 big plays that turn into touchdowns. And so if you've got an offense that can't compete with that, you might say we'd rather, play a little more bend but don't break, not give up any big plays, force them to kick field goals, and then maybe we can eke one out, right? Like there's just there's a way of going about having game flow. And I think what he's speaking to is the fact that Kellen Moore is more concerned about becoming a head coach one day and showing his offensive prowess by putting up a bunch of points and numbers. And that's what he's more focused on. So, both things can be true. I feel like when your offense is able to score points, you should be able to win a lot of football games, or you should be able to score more. It kind of feels like an excuse sometimes to put it on Kellen Moore, who, had this offense always, when they had a healthy quarterback, in a good position. They were a top 10 offense during his entirety of his time there as a play caller. when Dak was healthy. So it feels like he's kind of pointing the blame here.
100% throwing him
He's
under
got
the
no
bus.
one to point to now.
Because what's the point of taking a shot at a guy after he left unless you're feeling the heat and you want it to be known? Everything that was an issue before, that wasn't on me, because now here's the difference why I like it this way and he was doing it that way, and how much fun I'm having now that I finally get control of everything.
Because it was painful watching Kellen do it. And now I'm having the most fun that I've had since being here. You threw him under the bus. And while I'll agree with you, Q, that to me, the hammer drops on Mike McCarthy's nail next, I still think he's positioning Dak Prescott to be the fall guy if it doesn't go that way. Whether it ends up being Mike McCarthy or not, Mike McCarthy, is clearly someone that has no problem throwing a guy under the bus. That's what he just showed us.
It's weird, man.
So he's got to keep himself in position. Is he keeping himself in position to keep his job, or is he putting himself in position to win a Super Bowl? To me,
I think he'd probably say both, right?
I mean, I would want it to be both, but in my mind, I think he's making sure he protects his job first, because I don't know that this – I mean, can he look at his team and say, you know what, this is a Super Bowl caliber team? I mean, maybe he does. He probably does, but I don't know how realistic that is.
I mean, if Rodgers leaves, the NFC is pretty –
It's
they're
open.
pretty weak. Yeah,
It's open.
There's an opportunity.
But it was
there.
open this year.
Yeah, but
It
Philly,
was open this year.
I mean, Philly had such a great year that I think it was tough for Dallas to try and take over that division, even though they had an opportunity late in the season. And obviously, Prescott's injury played into early on what the issues there. But Cooper Rush came in; they won a bunch of games. The defense has played well. Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the league. Period. It's funny to me that he's taking this aggressive of an approach, and I kind of put some of the blame, if not majority of the blame, on Jerry Jones. Because when Jerry Jones is out there ball washing his coordinators and talking about how they should be head coaches, and you've got all the Sean Payton rumors, the fact that Mike McCarthy has to even look over his shoulder, knowing.
Well, he's only got one left to get rid
Oh,
of.
well, yeah.
To secure his job.
But now that Sean Payton has taken a job elsewhere, Dan Quinn's got to be the guy. Like, he's got to be the heir apparent, and Mike McCarthy
and think about
knows
how they
that.
kept him, right? Like, think about it. He had the opportunity to leave. He's like, nah.
Multiple years in a row.
No, I think I'll stay. That was kind of, no, I'm enjoying myself in Dallas. I think I'll stay.
I
mean, what did they say to him? Because he was happy as hell to maintain being the D coordinator in Dallas. Instead of going somewhere else. Nah, I think, I'm going to take my chances here.
And he could have had a job last offseason and this offseason.